Yeah, what's poppin', man? It's your boy Bang, back with another motherfucking Boo Bang Theory. Yeah, man, I told you I'm gonna have to break that deprogramming from the 3D down in like five different parts and shit. So this is gonna be the part four right here. So let me get on with it, man. I had to come back and regroup. But anyway, I think where I started off or left off at in part three. Uh, what else? Okay, let's see if I can get. Okay, so I'm gonna start from here. It's close enough to where I left off at. So, Palladian ships are a macabre that can be visually perceived as to that of a glowing orb that help this species move in and out of dimensions through a frequency change by speeding up or slowing down vibrations. When you take the triangle's 3 points of 3, 6, and 9, which correlates to the dimensional links that form the trinity of creation and matter, and add them together, you get 9. This equilateral triangle's angles also adds up to 180 degrees between the 3 points. 1 plus 8 plus 0 equals 9. If you take the two triangles from both polarities of the Mekapa, I think that's the word, don't get me wrong, I might be saying it real fucked up. But if you take the two triangles from both polarities of the Mekapa, you get 180 degrees plus 180 degrees, which equals 360 degrees. 3 plus 6 plus 0 equals 9. Each triangle on its own add up to 9. 9 plus 9 equals 18. Add 1 and 8 and you also get 9. The macabre is therefore the vehicle to the ninth dimension and the connection with the God. As this connection comes from the heart, it is activated through the universal frequency of 432 Hertz, which is the same frequency and natural rhythm of the heart. 4 plus 3 plus 2 equals 9. The circle is a sign of everything and completion. It represents the zodiac wheel, our clock that perceives time. It is the shape of our planets. It makes up the construction of our cells and even equates to the circular presentation of our molecules and atoms. Okay, the circle is a sign of everything and completion. It represents the zodiac wheel, our clock that perceives time. It is the shape of our planets. It makes up the construction of our cells and even equates to the cellular presentation of our molecules and atoms. Since that is the formation of energy, we can understand that duality lives within its tiny composition of particles too. Protons, electrons, and neutrons within an atom represents the two serpents and the pineal gland pole of balance in its most minuscule form known to man. The two opposite charges of protons, positive, and electrons, negative, spin around like nano tornadoes within the energy field. But it is only through the neutron that it effectively moderates the repulsive forces stabilizing the nucleus. The neutron is simply the counterbalance. Everything in our existence must be defined by balance to in its natural harmonious state. So it says the neutron is simply the counterbalance. Everything in our existence must be defined by balance to exist in its natural harmonious state. All atoms are connected through the quantum waves of the 0 point energy field. This 0 point is a state of perfect resonance that contains all of the frequencies of all that is and ever was, which equates to the simultaneous presence and abundance of all possibilities. The 0 point field is the scientific basis of oneness, just like the bubble of our universe that holds every frequency within. The number 0 tells us everything about our existence and proves that we are immortal. And where I'm at on time. Okay. Pretty good, I guess. Alright, so the brainwave explanation that I mentioned earlier can be simplified as 0 equals 1 plus -1 in mathematics. The opposite forces cancel one another out. This technical equation is summed up with Euler's formula, or more commonly known as the God equation, which is equals cos x plus I sine x EIX, which is, hold on, the Euler's formula, or more commonly known as the God equation, which is EIX equals cos x plus I sine x. I gotta do more research on that. That's definitely something I gotta, jump into it and see what it's all about. Okay, but going on. Seemingly, as everything comes from 0, represented through the circle, your soul is equal to a formula of 0. The 0 therefore represents an infinite energetic capacity, and since energy cannot die, but instead can only be altered, there is no death, but instead the beginning of a new chapter in your or our eternal life. We were already born complete, and our struggle and triumph are simply the looping cycles that we all created to give new experiences to the soul. The 3D life is merely a story in the blink of an eye. The power of the source formula is understanding that since nothing exists but that of thought, you are always manifesting, or we are always manifesting our reality through thought, through what you choose to imagine. The only perception that exists is the one you choose through vibration. Since we now know that duality no longer affects us, no matter how chaotic things may play out on the surface of the external world. Since we are a fraction of the Creator, we co-create the experiences we want every moment. We cannot exist without matter in the 3D. So we must embrace the balance of dark and light. We are both angels and demons in this physical form, working together in this spiritual journey to rediscover and unveil our true authentic selves as beings of light. By walking through the dark, we find our light. We do not know what light is in a room just filled with light. Nothing matters because matter is nothing that doesn't exist. We are only what we choose to believe. The ancient Egyptians knew the secrets to life and the pathway to extinction. They were open with their teachings to those who were working toward spiritual enlightenment. The all-seeing eye that has been somewhat personified as an expression of evil is simply not the case, becoming a misrepresentation of its true significance as time has progressed since the Atlantean period. Instead, the power of knowledge it originally carried within its symbology was abused by certain malevolent groups to exploit and control others, which led to Atlantis' downfall. This is where it has received its negative connotations through a more disruptive influence, projecting out as a bad label in today's culture. Like in the Illuminati, the corruption associated to the wisdom encompassing that of the all-seeing eye predominantly created a domino-like effect. When secret societies formed certain priesthood in Atlantean times, members of these groups congregated and conspired together to get ahead of the pack in attempts to cement their status in the social hierarchy that led to a greater unequal divide upon the civilization. There have been attempts post the fall of Atlantis 11,600 years ago to restore the equality back to the people in the times that followed the great global cataclysm that wiped out 80% of the global population. Many of these plans also got hijacked as toxic masculine consciousness continued to dominate through the imbalance of relying on the sympathetic nervous system for its actions. Mithras was a godly-like figure seen as a predated Jesus in earlier Roman times, who had astonishing similarities to the holy man we all know about today, including that of a virgin birth on December the 25th. Mithras, his teachings led to the myth, relic, mystery, skulls, which are now heavily linked to Freemasonry. It became a religion that backfired from its intended purpose to enlighten the mass population, just like those teachings from Atlantean times. Instead, it created an even more powerful divide and oppression upon the common people living under the Roman rulership in that era. Alright, so I'm gonna stop it right there, and then I'll run it back and shit for part number 5 and shit, man. might gonna be 6 more motherfucking, it might be 6 parts, but yeah, I'll be back with part 5.